let's queer up the worldview. Is the Congo next in queer death sentence Africa? A member of the Democratic Republic of Congo's National Assembly, Constant Mutamba, who leads the Dynamic Progressive Revolutionary Opposition Platform, has proposed a bill aimed at criminalizing LGBTQ plus individuals. We were just talking about this. According to the bill, anyone engaging in homosexual acts, including gestures, could face a prison sentence ranging from 5 to 10 years. This move reflects a concerning trend in the country where government officials and civil society have increasingly targeted the LGBTQ plus community with anti-LGBTQ plus sentiments. Last June, the Superior Council for Audiovisual and Communication, the Media Regulatory Authority, advised the media to refrain from airing LGBTQ plus specific discussions, which is why we're here on Happening Out TV. Mutamba's bill has faced criticism from activists who argue it deflects attention from critical issues like governance and service delivery. However, there are a considerable number of Congolese citizens who endorse the bill and have commended Mutamba for it. This isn't the first time such legislation is being proposed. Back in 2010, an anti-homosexuality bill was introduced suggesting sentences of 3 to 5 years in prison for individuals involved in consensual same-sex activities. However, the bill failed to pass in 2010. If the new bill gets passed, it could have major consequences for the LGBTQ plus individuals in the Democratic Republic of Congo, raising alarms among human rights advocates both locally and internationally. LGBTQ plus activists express fear that this is the first step in the slippery slopes of an anti-LGBTQ plus legislation seen in Kenya, Nigeria, and other African countries that have even included a death penalty for homosexual acts. And you know, when I read this story, I did a little research, and when I looked at the continent of Africa and anti-LGBTQ legislation, the majority of the continent of Africa has that type of legislation, or they just have the death penalty in almost 10 countries. We have a long way to go with Africa, and as we move into this global society, you know, Africa will be like the most populous continent. And it's going to be a world leader very, very soon with AI. We have to figure out a way to get in there and not allow the United Nations, whatever governing bodies we have to really step up and start to get involved in these things that are going on in Africa. We really have to pull them into our time, which is perilous as it is, right? Yeah. We have plenty of anti-LGBTQ legislation right here in Florida, but somehow we have to.
Right now too,
There's a phrase about reaching out and pulling community in. Right. And right now we have to be, maybe our LGBTQ organizations need to start contacting people over there and reach out and start to pull them in, let them know they're not alone. This is not acceptable. We have to change this as fast as possible. We don't have room.
There was
no, please go ahead.
Well, there's the rescue of those people in Chechnya. Remember how they brought them to the States. They brought them to places where they could be safe. I think it's also important not to overlook this part of the story that says, quote, Mutamba's bill has faced criticism from activists who argue it deflects attention from critical issues like governance and service delivery, end quote. Once again, queer people are being used
Sounds
as
like
a distraction. They're distracting.
So oddly familiar.
Right, from more pressing and critical situations because they can't fix them, so they're turning on us.
To get more attention, to get news clips, to get... It's just disgusting. The diversion tactic.
The diversion tactic, but I've spoken to many journalists from over there and other work that I do, and they say, like, you know, these missionaries, so like, who are these churches? They come over here, and before you know it, the things that they believe become law. And they come with money, or they come with the promise of education. We'll build you a school, but you have to learn what we want you to teach. This has happened before in history. We know this doesn't work. Well, nothing good comes out of this type of thing, right?
It's enforced ignorance.
Just
and it happens all over the world. just people are kept ignorant so that they are kept in place.
And then it becomes dangerous.
It's so dangerous.
I often like to bring attention to what we could do, like right now, right here, tonight, to shed more awareness and light to this story. And it's really simple. Share this feed. You know, throw it in all of the gay groups you're a part of, on Facebook, on Reddit, on all of the Instagram platforms. There are a million now. So I think that that's really, really important that we are getting this out.
I agree. I love that idea. You know, there's a friend of mine, he used to be the United Nations liaison to LGBTQ, Fabrice Hudart. There is a position in the United Nations of someone who handles these international things. Maybe if you're at home and you're part of an LGBTQ organization locally, you want to reach out to the person who's in that place and just offer your support, or offer to, I don't know, do we have to write letters? Do we have to do petitions? Like, whatever we can do while we're fighting our own fight here, because believe it or not, they still look for us to lead, because we do have a city like Wilton Manor. We do have a haven,
West Hollywood,
and so we have gotten that far, right? And so,
sorry,
it's okay. Don't apologize.
It's so easy to think that it doesn't affect us because it's not here, it's not now. But you know, things like that happen far away, it signals to other people that, oh, it doesn't matter. We can do that here too. We can, you know, test the water somewhere else and then implement it.
That's right.
Closer to home. And it's just, it emboldens people. And we need to speak up. We need to say things. We need to show our support. Even just this story. And like you said, sharing this and letting people know, it's just terrifying.
It is terrifying. But again, Greg, you spotlighted the positive part of the story, so I'm going to live there. I'm going to live in the positive with this, but I do encourage you to share this everywhere.